We are going to talk about the new MSI MAG Z790 Edge Wi-Fi motherboard. This particular motherboard is kind of special to us because first it has white accents on the motherboard, which pretty much sort of makes it very good enough for a white build, and secondly it has the word Edge in it. But apart from that, let's take a closer look at the motherboard and see what it's all about. So the first we have is the white box in front of me, and this is a DDR5 motherboard. It means that of course the chipset being the Z790, which is compatible with the Intel 12th gen and the 13th gen processors with the LGA 1700 socket, makes it a motherboard that kind of is a balance between mid-range and not so high-end, but good enough. And I feel that this is a good value, especially if you're going in for the i7 or the i9 processors in the 12th or the 13th gen family. Now coming to that, we're going to take a look at what's inside the box. As we open the box, we are greeted with the Wi-Fi box here, which is basically, it's in this packet, which is kind of like it's got the aerials, and I'm going to open this first and just show you exactly what's inside, then we'll get ahead further. Just going to tear that up a bit. And then we have here is this particular Wi-Fi antenna, and it's basically like a small shark fin, and it has a V-shaped stand, so it's pretty interesting. All you need to do is just slide this in. Yeah, there you go. So this is it. And the interesting part about this is that it has place here for two screws, so you can hang this also if you want. We'll get to that later on. Keeping that aside, we have the actual motherboard here, and I'll get into the motherboard later, just removing these boxes, keeping them aside. Inside the box you get two SATA cables. If you need more, you can always get more. You have a USB provided with MSI with all the drivers and wallpapers and stuff. You get up to 3 NVMe SSD standoffs. These are the ones that do not need screws, so they're just basically toolless, so that's a good thing. And you get some documentation and some MSI stickers. Now we're coming to the motherboard itself. So opening up, first thing that I'll see in the rear side is there protection labels here in case if you forget to remove the standoffs from your case, but I think it's best if you do that. Then this is the motherboard here. As you can see, it's not a white motherboard per se, but it's given more of a silver look to the entire thing. Heat sinks over here are just silver painted. Even this as well, the VRM heatsink also as well as silver painted, and this portion over here of the dragon that you see is RGB. So that's how the motherboard looks with the graphics and everything. Let's get into the basics of it. Well, it has a 16+1+1 VRM power phase design, so that's 16 over here and then 1+1 over here for your it's pretty much divided accordingly so that you can run easily the K processors. I mean, you can also try using the Intel 13900K as well on this. It should give you good results. Moving on to the RAM slots, you've got 4 RAM slots, and memory overclocking is up to 7200 megahertz. Moving on to the little basics, we have CPU power, which is 8+8 over here. That's of course for the overclocking and clean power to your motherboard. Again, another system fan slot. Then you have your 4 indicators. Of course, your 24 pin is over here. You've got your USB 3.0, and below that you've got USB Type C port connector. Moving further down, you have around 6 SATA ports. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 SATA ports. You've got the front speaker. You've got another SATA port, which is the 7th one in case if you need it. You have your standard connectors. Again, another fan port over here. You've got 2 USB 2.0 for USB devices, say such as coolers or USB splitters, internal USB hubs, etc. Then you have 3 more fan connectors. So in fact 3 more over here and 1 over here again. So This can be used for your rear fan, these can be used for your bottom 3 fans, and over here you got 2. So one probably for your pump and the other one for your fans on the radiator. If you're using a liquid cooler, if you're using an air cooler, you could probably use one of those. Again, we have one other JRGB port over here. So pretty much I can say you can connect up to 3 ARGB devices independently, and you have one RGB in case if you decide to get a basic case. You have that. Then you have an option, a mechanical switch here to state that whether you want the motherboard LED to be on or off. So this is sort of a matter of convenience, or maybe just you don't want the default RGBs to be there, so you have that switch. And then you have the general audio switch, you have the audio circuitry over here. Moving on to the PCI slots, you have one PCI slots over here which is reinforced with metal. This means that it helps the PCI slot not to get damaged in case if you connect heavy graphic cards. So that's your PCI Gen 5 X16 slot. Then you have your PCI Gen 3 X1 slot for probably some add-on cards or anything like that. And then you have your PCIe Gen 4 X16 slot. So this is an interesting thing, because in this motherboard, if you have a graphics card and then if you want to add in, say, maybe a Blackmagic card or anything like that, so you can use this. So that's kind of helpful over here. Oh yeah, before I go with the IOs, let me tell you about the M.2s. So you have one M.2 slot over here, which is Gen 4 X4. And then you have 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can put up to 5 M.2 storage devices. Now this particular motherboard does not support Gen 5 as of now, at least as per the specifications, but yes, you've got up, all of them are Gen 4, so that's a good thing. As far as the IO is concerned, we have the HDMI port here, we have the display port here for processors with onboard graphics. Then you have the BIOS flashback button here, and we have the clear CMOS. Then we have up to 4 USB 3.0 5 Gbps ports to basically to connect your keyboard devices and mouse and etc. Then you have up to 4 USB type A 10 Gbps, basically again for storage devices, for external storage and other stuff like that. Then you have 2 type C ports. One type C has 10 Gbps, which for again type C devices, but they do not require much bandwidth, and the other one is type C 20 Gbps. This is especially useful for, say, external storages that support high transfer speeds. Then we have the 2.5G LAN connector for internet. We have 2 Wi-Fi antennas for Wi-Fi, and this Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3 supported. And for the audio, you have your normal audio, which is your audio out, mic in, line in, and then you have center and subwoofer and SPDIF in case you want to connect this to your home theater system, which is again a good thing to have. So that's it for this overview. This motherboard looks good. It has silver finish all over on the metal surfaces and the heatsink, so it kind of gives you that black and silver dual tone. I think that using this particular motherboard in terms of aesthetic value can go both fit well in black builds as well as white builds, and it's got all the necessary ports and features that one may need to have some sort of an all-round system for gaming and content creation. And pairing this up with an i7 or even an i9, but that's pushing it, but an i7 would be just around perfect. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, you can post it in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this video, and follow our socials again, which is listed below in the description for more videos like this. Or you just want to talk to us, let us know what you want us to make a video on, or if you have any questions, just let me know and we'll answer them. See you.